Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
The IMF agrees to provide financial assistance to Barbados. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, September 7. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Barbados and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, have reached an agreement that will see the country being given access to $290 million to support a homegrown program aimed at helping the country out of its economic troubles. Prime Minister Mia Mottley and IMF Representative Bert Van Selm made the announcement of the 48th month extended fund facility during a joint media briefing on Friday, following discussions on financial support for the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation BERT plan. The agreement will have to be officially approved by the IMF Executive Board, which will consider it early next month. Once the green light is given, Barbados will have immediate access to $49 million in funding. Van Selm said the IMF sees the BERT program as a step in the right direction towards strong, sustainable and inclusive growth.
This important commitment of IMF resources is a vote of confidence in the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan, or BERT. The cornerstone of the program is a strong front-loaded fiscal adjustment focused on curbing current expenditure while maintaining space for social safety nets and infrastructure spending. And in this context, measures to reduce government expenditures that were announced just last week, in late August, are a critical and very important first step. These measures should help reach a primary surplus target of 6% of GDP in the next fiscal year, 2019-20.
The IMF officials stressed that extraordinary effort and resolve by the authorities and other segments of society, as well as broad international support, would be required for the BERT program to be successful. He cautioned that the initial implementation period would be challenging, but expressed confidence that Barbados would emerge stronger and more dynamic and better poised to generate growth and job creation. The IMF agreement comes against the background of a Barbados economy that is characterized by low growth, high debt and a widening fiscal deficit. International reserves have dwindled to $240 million, well below adequate levels. Now, meantime, the Prime Minister told the conference that protecting the value of the Barbados dollar was a crucial part of the discussions on reaching an agreement with the IMF. And she said the BERT plan and the IMF agreement would honor her administration's commitment to that.
First and foremost, we stand here today appreciating the staff level agreement because we recognize that in achieving it, we have not put the stability or the value of the Barbados dollar at risk. Secondly, that contrary to what some others might have wanted to perpetuate and to put into the atmosphere locally, we are not putting at risk 4,000 to 5,000 jobs either. We have, however, adjustments to make, and we will make them. And we started to make them.
In Trinidad and Tobago, there have been mixed reports on the impact of Friday's day of rest and reflection called by the Oilfield Workers Union, the OWTU, to protest the government's decision to close the refinery at state-owned oil company Petrotrin. Union leaders had called on workers all across the country to stay off the job, but government had appealed to public service employees not to participate in the sympathy strike and threatened to take legal action against anyone who heeded the union's call. On Friday, Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan said the schedules of the Public Transport Service Corporation were not affected by the industrial action. But Education Minister Anthony Garcia said several schools across the country were without teachers, as some educators defied a Ministry of Education warning that they would face serious consequences if they participated in the action.
We had an average of 50% attendance of teachers at the primary level. And when we look at the secondary level, from all our 7 education districts, in the secondary level, we had an average attendance of teachers today that amounted to 52.5%. So in both instances, we have, of course, the 50% mark.
And the report from the health sector was similar.
Head of the Northwest Regional Health Authority, Wendy Alley, said all operations ran as usual today in the health institutions under her purview. The NWRHA administers and manages the Port of Spain General Hospital, the St. Anne's Psychiatric Hospital, the St. James Medical Complex and 17 health centres. Ms. Alley said while the unions have a job to do, she was also pleased with the turnout.
Well, I think the unions have a job to do, and they are doing their jobs, and we have a job to do. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to all the members of the health fraternity, all categories of staff, for putting the care of our patients and those who depend upon us first.
President General of the Oilfield Workers Union, Ansel Roger, says the government's intimidation of workers is responsible for the turnout at Friday's industrial action. At a press conference on Friday evening, he said despite what he calls direct threats from government ministers, including Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, at public service employees, the union's actions were still successful.
State-owned oil company Petrotrin will meet the representative unions next Tuesday. This as consultation continues over the closure of the Petrotrin refinery that will see some 1,700 jobs being terminated. Petrotrin says the unions have each submitted questions to the company ahead of the discussions. The company's majority bargaining unit, the OWTU, has indicated it will be tabling a counter-proposal for the board's consideration. Petrotrin's chairman, Wilfred Espinay, said the board was willing to consider any alternative plan that would make the company competitive, get it on a path to sustainable profitability, and enable it to refinance its debt.
And workers, Roger says he believes Friday's industrial action would have awakened the consciousness of the citizens and would have placed on the national agenda a type of discussion that discussion was asleep for a while. And meantime, a meeting has been Grenada's Energy Minister Gregory Bowen is warning of an increase in fuel prices in the island and other CARICOM countries when the Petrotrin refinery closes. Now, speaking in the lower house of Parliament on Friday, he said that as of October 1st, Grenada will have to source fuel and related products from other suppliers. Now, Bowen said CARICOM is dealing with the matter urgently and regional governments have decided to work together and possibly make bulk purchases to ensure financial benefits for all. He said other countries will be affected by the closure, including Jamaica, Barbados and St. Lucia, adding that the company supplies 70% of the region's fuel needs. Since the announcement of the closure of Petrotrin's refinery, companies that supply energy products in the region have written to governments and CARICOM seeking the removal of the external tariff because of the costs of supplies coming outside of the region. Bowen told the Parliament that Trinidad has not objected to the request and as such it will be granted. But he added that purchasing from outside of CARICOM will result in increased prices for gas and other products that were supplied by Petrotrin. And coming up after the break, Newsline Entertainment. Stay with us.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica, building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
I was a PH driver for several years. I hustled my car for a living, and the way I dealt with my passengers, I was observed by these gentlemen, and they were quite pleased and satisfied the service I provided to the passengers. And they recommended that I get into the tourism industry. So I got my taxi badge, I got a taxi, I joined the Tobago Owners and Drivers Association, which I am now the vice president of.
Welcome back. This week in Newsline Entertainment, we take a look at how some entertainers in Barbados are using their talent to help spread a positive message to the youth.
In the music industry, entertainers are often frowned upon and most times blamed for promoting the wrong messages. But a group of local artists in Barbados is fighting back, dispelling that stigma. Through an anti-violence campaign created by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with Pyramid Entertainment, the artists made their voices one to help deal with the rising violence in schools. Ruel Ward, Director of Operations of Pyramid Entertainment, says his company was very pleased to partner with the Ministry of Education on this anti-violence campaign.
The ministry just gave us the guidelines. Peace begins with me. Violence solves nothing, talk it out. That's all they gave us and said, okay, we'll take that and create a jingle. So that we did. We brought in a team of industry professionals, some other artists, Mole, Philip 7, Faith Calendar, along with Graham Columbach from Media House. He was the one that did all the graphics and the visuals. Anthony Loher and Gary Soro of Commercial Music, they actually did the music. So all together, we came together and we went to the studio. Ram started fiery writing, and a couple hours later we had a jingle.
Ward explained why these particular artists were selected.
When we met with the team initially, we thought we have to look at aspiring artists as well, and also who the kids would listen to. Again, there are certain demographics, and so and because it's not only kids, we're trying to cater to everyone. So we chose Ram, we chose Faith, we chose Mo. When we had the meeting, and Faith, when we had the meeting with the management team, and then we told them who we were suggesting, and we're like, so who's Mo? Who's this person? We don't know this person. And we were like, trust me, you need Mo on this campaign, because he is really the voice that gets to that demographic.
Now to the man behind the lyrics. Popular soca artist Peter Wiggins, better known as Peter Ram. We're used to seeing him working the crowd and doing what he does best. But there's another side to Peter Ram. He is also a peace ambassador working with Barbados' youth. He tells us his strategy is to connect with the young people.
Well, first we got to get the kids' attention. Once you got them there, they will listen. Rather than them hearing somebody, look, don't do that, or don't go school in your school, try and do this and do that. Coming from the artists that they love, if you tell them, put up your hand and wave and jump and things, we're telling them that, and they're doing that. We could well say, we got the attention now, let me joking a little something.
And he made an appeal for other entertainers to follow in his footsteps.
I mean, every entertainer should, And I don't know if I could take you back a little bit.
You can.
I did a song, I always knew, so you be singing for the people, I always knew, so joking something that, will make them listen. Even for the big people too. I did a song, No to Guns. If you YouTube it, you see No to Guns, they did a whole video on that, against the violence the same way. So, and it would be beautiful to see bigger artists, bigger names too, come and join in with the thing and help. And I feel it will help. It will help a lot. Real thing.
Ward says he was surprised at the feedback the jingle has gotten so far.
We were surprised as well in how quickly it went viral. As I said, we had it, we just had it there. And, we realized that nothing was coming out from the ministry as far as the public and promotion is concerned. We said, you know what, before school starts back, let's just push this out. And I think, within 24 hours, it had reached, regions and people that, we were getting messages back to Pyramid and to Ram and stuff, the great work that we were doing, and, they didn't know that the stuff was going on.
And what's Peter Ram's favorite line?
More, this is non-violent season. Don't get in the beef with the body, be vegan.
What is his desired outcome from this jingle?
No more fights in schools. You will see the kids, going back to normal, playing, the girls playing, skipping, the boys pitching marbles, and, all of we having fun, and, it's bare love going home, and them kind of things. It's just love. We want to see love and unity after all of this.
The artist will be visiting all 20 secondary schools across Barbados to perform the jingle. Renee Sion, Newsline Entertainment.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, Shemaine Campbell recalled to the West Indies women's squad after a 2-year absence. Stay with us. Sport is next.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Essential items to be kept: keep blankets in dry place or waterproof container.
Tell us a little bit about Darcy. Darcy was a young lady, right?
Yeah.
And she was on her way to work one early morning in the dark, right? What happened?
Darcy Carey, just a beautiful person, good person, never been in trouble. And she's driving in rural Kitsap County. It can be hilly. It's not a lot of people live there. And she's driving down a road.
I also think it's kind of weird that the only one that I had more energy on was the Perry. But that kind of makes sense, too, because I use the Perry more. I don't use it very often. But it's also lower than the other two as far as energy goes.
Yeah, because when you parry, you have to angulate onto the target, so that made it a lot less...
energetic?
Yeah, a lot less energetic.
All right, break it up. Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, one location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
Batsman Shemaine Campbell has earned a recall to West Indies women following a 2-year hiatus. She has been included in a 15-member squad named to face South Africa in a series starting next week in Barbados. Campbell, who had not played for the regional side since the tour of India in 2016, forced her way back with heavy scoring in June in the Women's Championship in Jamaica, which saw her score a superb 107 in the opening round. 20-year-old Guyanese Shanita Grimond and 23-year-old Trinidadian Karishma Ramarak, both uncapped, joined the squad for the 5-match T20 series in Trinidad. Kiana Joseph, Natasha McLean, Chadine Nation and Shakira Selman are also returning. Meanwhile, Brittany Cooper and Akira Peters have been overlooked. The side will be led by regular captain and batting star Stephanie Taylor. It includes mainstays like Marissa Aguilera, Deandra Dottin and Hayley Matthews. Windies faced South Africa in the opening one-day international at Kensington Oval on September 16th, with games also scheduled for the 19th and the 22nd. The games form part of the ICC Women's Championship, in which the Windies lie 5th in the standings. And West Indies B won all 3 of their matches in Cricket Canada's T20 Cricket Fest to emerge as the champions when the tournament concluded at the Maple Leaf Cricket Club last weekend. The Windies easily defeated Canada, Canada A and the Toronto Bears to be the only team to end with a 3-0 record. They defeated Canada A in their first match, led by a dominant batting performance from opener John Campbell. After limiting their opponents to 127 for 3 of the 20 overs, Campbell clobbered 3 sixes and 9 fours in an unbeaten 83 of 46 balls as the Windies finished on 129 for 1 in just 14.3 overs to record a comprehensive 9-wicket victory. The Windies then continued their winning ways with a 5-wicket win over Canada's national side that dismissed the host for 146 and 19.5 overs before reaching the required target with 2 overs to spare. Now the visitors then easily disposed the Bears by 6 wickets in their final game to wrap up a successful tour. The Bears made just 124 for 7 in their 20 overs, with the Windies making light work of that total as they raced to 127 for 4 of 11 overs. The victorious West Indies B pocketed 5,000 Canadian dollars and a trophy for winning the T20 4-team tournament. Over to football now. Trinidad and Tobago netted 1 in each half to romp to a comfortable 2-0 victory over United Arab Emirates in the international friendly on Thursday. TV6's Vinud, that's Sergio Dufour, has that story.
It did not take long for Trinidad and Tobago to get some soca-style football going. A build-up between Nathan Lewis and Shadon Winchester was just what the returning Attila Guerra needed to give TNT the go-ahead goal in the 37th minute. The replay showed some chemistry, which makes you question if they needed to train after all. And in the 58th minute, TNT did not take the finger off the trigger. Jovin Jones caused the problems all evening, and he eventually got one in for Lewis, who scored 2-0. TNT dominated control of the match despite some late pressure from their opponents, who tried without success to score. 2-0, the game would end in favor of TNT in Spain.
And Guyana needed Neil Dan's late game heroics to salvage a draw against visitors Barbados when the CONCACAF Nations League competition got underway on Thursday at the National Track and Field Centre. Guyana missed several chances to open the scoring in the first half, with Andrew Murray Jr. and Sheldon Holder and Daniel Wilson spurning 3 clear-cut opportunities. But 1 minute into the second half, Trayon Bob gave the home side the lead when he raced onto a through pass inside the left of the box before lobbing his shot over the advancing goalkeeper and into the right corner. Hoop equalized in the 65th minute after a poor back pass fell into his path. He took full advantage of it, curling his right-footed shot into the left corner of the net. He then got his brace 8 minutes later, his powerful diving header proving too much for Guyana's custodian Kai Mackenzie Lyle to handle. And with Barbados in sight of what would have been their first victory against Guyana since 1999, Dan's late goal ensured the spoils would be shared equally between both sides. And meanwhile, Dominica and Suriname battled to a goalless draw in Guadeloupe. And finally, Jamaica will be going to next year's Pan Am Games in Lima, Peru, without some of its gymnasts who've been injured. TVJ's Renato Brown tells us more.
The stage was set for Jamaica's darling of the sport, Tonian Williams, to make a return to national representation for the first time since the 2016 Olympic Games. Since then, the US-based gymnast has been missing from the national program due to injury. However, the Jamaica Amateur Gymnastics Association, JAGA, was hoping the September 10 to 17 event would mark her return, but once again, it's looking unlikely.
She is injured and she may not be competing at the Pan Am Championships. We're just hoping that she will be well enough to do something, because at this point it's really a qualification of the teams as well as individuals, of course.
But Tonian is not the only injury hit for Jamaica.
And Maya, who is also another member of our team, she got injured recently and she will definitely be out, and that is really a blow to us, because Maya, who is Tonian's sister, she's a very strong gymnast and we really wanted to see what she had to offer.
But despite the injury concerns on the women's side, Grant Brown is still confident of doing well.
However, we also have the notion we're excited to have her back. She has been out since 2016 and we are looking forward to a good performance from her. We also have new blood in our team, Mackenzie and Kiara, and they were at the training camp in Domrep earlier last month, and we're very pleased to know that they are gelling and they are ready to go.
There are no injury concerns for the men's team, which will once again be led by Reese Beckford. Caleb Falk, Stephen Lewis, and Nicholas Ty completes that team, with the latter looking to fly the flag for the locally trained gymnast.
I'm more confident than I was like last year and the year before, you know, because each competition we do, we get more exposure and we get more confident in every routine that we do. So every time we execute that routine, we look back at the mistakes and we come back stronger.
The Pan American Championships will serve as a qualifier for the 2019 Pan American Games.
And that's the sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
Again, the major developments of this day: the IMF agrees to provide financial assistance to Barbados under a 48-month extended fund facility. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again on Monday, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.